Orthodox Heathenry, a solution to division. If you have an issue with the name, I'd ask that you finish the video before passing judgment. The name itself does get changed, but it's important to discuss the initial Orthodox Heathenry name in order to understand what it became later. The inception is crucial to the finished product. That being said, let's start by defining the two words that comprise Orthodox Heathenry: heathenry and orthodox. Heathenry is Germanic paganism. Orthodox means to conform to what is generally or traditionally accepted as right or true, established and approved. When we put these words together under these definitions, we essentially get traditional Germanic paganism, the exact efforts of reconstruction. How do we arrive at Orthodox heathenry, though? What is the purpose of such a thing, and should it even exist? Can it even exist? This video hopes to explain the benefits of adopting an orthodoxical mindset with heathenry, how it can exist, and how it will move the modern heathen religion forward from a loose collection of semi-agreed upon beliefs into a truly re-established religion. The benefits of actually establishing an orthodoxical mindset in heathenry are obvious. Have you ever been in an argument with someone who simply didn't believe in the lore and wanted heathenry to conform to their UPG and their personal beliefs and desires? Have you ever seen people practicing in a way that is directly contrary to the lore because of a mistaken belief, garnered from a modern neo-pagan book? The orthodoxical mindset of correct belief would instantly remedy that. If the belief doesn't come from the lore, then it would be considered not heathen. Now, statements such as this are usually met with the staunch protest of people saying the lore is not a Bible. But in reality, the lore very much is a Bible. But in order to understand just exactly how the lore is a Bible, we actually have to look at what the Bible even is to begin with. The Bible wasn't always the nice, neat book that Christians eagerly hand out to anyone willing to listen. The Bible was once a compilation of oral traditions, stories, scraps of information, differing accounts, even sometimes the same account with different variations, spread out and chaotic in nature. It was through the compilation of these sources, editing and consolidation, that the Bible would begin to become a large cohesive book. We know the Bible today as from the works of people over hundreds of years, distanced by time and geographical location. It is a book cobbled together by the efforts of such people, who even were, in certain instances, of different cultures. The lore itself is, in reality, no different than the early Bible. It existed in an oral tradition and then eventually was written down, with sources varying greatly in time, distance, and even culture. If we take the body that is the lore and bring it together, we could even create our own heathen Bible through the same process. That idea, though, isn't what this video is about. This video isn't about selling some fancy book meant to be the be-all, end-all authority on heathenry. This video is about appreciating the source that we already have, the lore. Accepting the lore as our guiding truth, the very foundation of our religion, we can do away with the need for any single holy book in favor of dozens of original sources. That allows us to reconstruct heathenry, which is an umbrella term for three major religions, in a more authentic way. We know that the Anglo-Saxons had differing beliefs from the Norse, who had differing beliefs from the many tribes known to Tacitus. They may all have been Germanic and have been similar in religion, but they are not the same. By appreciating the original sources as true and correct, though not necessarily literal, we can create an approach never before seen in heathenry. Same basis, separate approach. This is the very essence of this video and the driving point behind what I came up with originally as Orthodox heathenry, an acceptance and adherence to the original sources with an acceptance that readers will have different interpretations. With this in mind, I have dropped the name Orthodox heathenry. I feel that it's simply too inflammatory and doesn't convey the most important part of the point. I have since switched from Orthodox heathenry to the same basis, separate approach method, which is what is being discussed here. The benefits of the same basis, separate approach method in heathenry, or previously Orthodox heathenry, are innumerable. No more UPG-driven kindreds with arbitrary validity because of a lack of establishment. No more neo-pagan Wiccan issues that arise from a lack of common ground. Just unification that allows for infinite variety through theological literary interpretation known as exegesis. Exegesis is the act of interpreting theological material in order to understand its true meaning. This is where the actual benefits of an orthodoxical mindset come into play. There are innumerable ways to interpret literature, but all of them are inextricably linked to that original literature. There isn't a need to consolidate all of heathenry into one forced way of thinking or believing, when simply establishing what sources are legitimately heathen will solve most issues plaguing the heathen community today. Kindreds can exist freely and independently, the authority of their leadership still being respected by those on the outside, due to an intrinsic understanding that said leadership is adhering to the lore by showcasing their adoption of an orthodoxic mindset, and adherence to the same basis, separate approach method. They interpret their own way, but respect the way. Kindreds and heathen organizations adopting this mindset would pave the way for heathenry being considered a legitimate religion by the rest of the world. Imagine being able to ask any heathen where we come from and getting a uniform answer because of the lore's stance on the issue. Imagine heathen chaplains ministering to heathen soldiers, heathen leaders in hospitals, funeral parlors, prisons, everywhere that so many other religions currently hold occupancy. The only way we can accomplish this on a grand scale is by adopting a same basis, separate approach method, an orthodoxical mindset in regards to our sacred lore. This would reestablish us firmly in the realm of an organized religion without the need for consolidation of power. No asapopes. There isn't a need for centralized power and leadership, only a need for a centralized source of beliefs. Virtually every religion in the world has a centralized source of beliefs in some form or another. These beliefs may vary from person to person, region to region, culture to culture, slightly, but the base of those religions themselves remains the same. In a heathen context, this could manifest in holidays. Certain descendants or practitioners of a particular regional variant of heathenry may celebrate a different holiday than certain descendants or practitioners of a different regional variant. This is only one example out of dozens of the freedom that still very much exists whilst adopting an orthodoxical attitude towards the lore as a whole. This method still allows for individual kindred cultures with individual reasonings and interpretations while preserving the sanctity of using the lore as a source. It should be said that archaeology and anthropology can absolutely be added into the mix in order to confirm the lore in parts, but it should be understood that both fields do not deal in exactities. The best source will always be literature because of the primarily subjective and speculative nature of the aforementioned fields of study. The realm of religious study is, and should be, centered around theology. In summary, it is my belief that an orthodoxical mindset in regards to the lore, a same basis, separate approach method in heathenry, would revolutionize our religion in a way that it hasn't been in 1,000 years. We would instantly make long strides towards fixing the divisive issues of politics being shoehorned into our religion, arbitrary agendas being pushed, New Age neo-paganism dominating the minds of new converts, and so many other issues through the establishment of what is and what is not heathen. Necessary standards that must be established if we are to ever move forward. In the establishment of these standards, using the lore as the primary source and guiding light, we will create a stronger, more stable, more authentic heathenry for generations to come. And that is the same basis, separate approach method. Thank you everyone for sitting with me today. My name is Gavin. This is the Heathen Household. If you like content like this and want to hear more about modern issues in heathenry and ways to fix them, don't forget to like and subscribe. And we'll see you in our next video.